Well, it's Thursday, and you all know what that means. As you probably know, we do Ring of Honor on this particular day, but however, because wherever AEW goes, Ring of Honor goes. As you probably know, once again, they head back to Mexico for this time with the collaboration with CML Global Wars. This one features many matches from not only from Ring of Honor's side and also AEW, but also from CMLL. It's going to be a fantastic show to get through from A to Z on this one. And then, of course, we move on with TNA Wrestling. Now, as you all know, we are, in fact, of course, on the road to lockdown. Battle lines are being drawn, and we continue, of course, with the semifinals of the TNA Knockouts television title. So the real question is, who will walk out as the winner? Well, we'll see what's going to take place as we get there. And then, of course, as always, we wrap up our episode, as usual, with some news updates, giving you guys updates on what's been happening in the world of wrestling, such as what events and promotions are thrown out, who's booked, what matches are set, including developments that are happening in the world of wrestling as we speak. So, let's get ready with another episode of the Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everyone, welcome to the Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK, anywhere pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We, of course, do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We even, of course, do more news updates. If certain information was unable to be on this episode, we can either put it on the next one or on a separate video by itself. We even, of course, do some real-time news updates to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We have, of course, got to Nagi Sayaka Watch and various other cool wrestling content as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us and click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or a nice comment in the description down below. Now, enough of the jibber jabbers, let's get to it. So, let's begin with, of course, the collaboration between Ring of Honor and CMLL Global Wars Mexico. Okay, Ring of Honor collaborating, of course, with CML for Global Wars Mexico. Now, as you know, last week, AEW made their way to Arena Mexico for Grand Slam Mexico, of course, and Ring of Honor collaborated with CML, having, of course, matches not only with Ring of Honor and AEW, but also talent from CML. Now, our first match, of course, we have the TNT Championship, Titan versus Kevin Knight. Of course, Kevin Knight, as you know, he is on a laser focus until we head to All In, where he will be facing Darby Allin. First things first, he needs to get through Titan, who is an amazing wrestler. He has fantastic high-flying skills, and not to mention a bit of the technical aspect. But however, Kevin Knight was able to apply the UFO splash, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Now, our next match is for the ROH World Television title. El Clone, who is representing the Don Faggot family, of course, takes on Lio Rush. Now remember, El Clone defeated Lio Rush in a previous match, and that gave him the right for this. And of course, I'm sure this is a title that Snake Don would want in his, of course, in his carry-on. Well, it kind of almost would have gone into El Clone's possession, but it was Lio Rush with his submission that we've been seeing recently that took care of him, and just like that, it was over. Now, Caprice Coleman conducted an interview with Billy Starks, talking about her history, when she was in high school and all this and that. But at some point, she brought in Athena about certain subjects, of course. But Athena got mad with Caprice about what he said and all that, so you can tell she went on a temper tantrum. So you can guess that. Now, our next match, we have Sky Blue versus teaming up with Marina Shafir and Hikaru Shida, taking on Hyan, Maya World, and Thunder Rosa. So I think this was a very fantastic match. Obviously, there was some good aspects of this one. I mean, we know that Hikaru Shida will be involved in that fatal four-way match along with Persephone and Chris Statlander for the TBS Championship, which Maya World is currently holding. And of course, there was going to be some stupid nonsense coming from Hikaru Shida. I mean, she accidentally, Marina had Thunder Rosa in the mother's milk, but apparently she was aiming the championship right up to someone. I kind of forgot who it was, but accidentally hit Marina Shafir's back, and just like that, Thunder Rosa picked up the win. Now, I don't know what Marina Shafir is going to make of this, but if I was Hikaru Shida, I would run through the hills. Now, our next match, we have Commander versus Soberano Jr. Of course, there was going to be some great high-flying maneuvers. I mean, Commander is one of the most impressive wrestlers we have seen, even though he may not come into the CMLL system, but he is highly respected. And of course, Soberano Jr., we have seen him, how much he can do. I mean, not to mention he, with his heelish work, was always been a good factor, but he was able to defeat Commander with a driver, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, boom, it was over. Now, our next match is for the AEW International Championship, I think, hopefully. Kyle Fletcher faces Mascara Dorada. I have to say, it was a fantastic match. One of those moments where, of course, you thought Kyle Fletcher had this match won, but Mascara Dorada decided to continue on, regardless of what kind of punishment Fletcher throws in. And just like that, he had that one shot, the sheer drop brainbuster, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, boom, Kyle Fletcher picked up the win. So I have to say, it was a pretty good show. Can't wait to see what's going to happen. Next week, I'll hopefully get more of the Global Wars. But for now, this is pretty much it with Ring of Honor with CML for Global Wars Mexico. Let's move on to our last review, which is TNA. Okay, so welcome to, of course, for TNA. So, we opened up with, of course, Ricky Souza taking on Brian Myers. Now, as you know, Ricky Souza, since arriving, a lot of people were trying to get him to join whatever faction they can try to get him to, but he declined the system from the very beginning. But since then, he had been dealing with the system one by one, but this time he faces Brian Myers. Now, of course, wherever, of course, Brian Myers goes, you know that Eddie Everett's going to be, so does Cedric Alexander, so would, of course, Baron Bronson and Alicia. Now, obviously, we were going to see some interference. Even Baron Bronson even interfered, but it kind of failed miserably thanks to Leon Slater having, of course, Ricky Souza's back. And then, of course, just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Ricky Souza picked up the win. But however, of course, let's just say that Slater still had some unfinished business with Cedric Alexander, who's been ducking him, not to put on the line, of course, the X Division Championship. So he called him, "You're nothing but a scared, jealous bitch." And he was pretty much adamant about that. But of course, Cedric Alexander did not like what he was hearing. He tells him that, he'll give him another opportunity, but on the one condition: if he loses, his record from the X Division in TNA must be erased from history. He wants to prove that Leon Slater is nothing more than a fraud, because he thinks that there's no way a guy like him, who is that young, could make that record stand. So that's what exactly he's trying to do. But of course, Leon knew exactly what he was getting himself, but at the same time, he knew that Cedric Alexander can't stand the fact, because I'm sure people are telling him he could have been the longest reigning champion if he didn't interfere, but I'm sure Cedric Alexander, no, he's a fraud, but of course Cedric was going to accept it, and this is going to happen in lockdown. Now, our next interview was, of course, with Rich Swann and BD. Now, of course, they had the contempt with the Order of Four. However, the Order of Four gave specific instructions saying that they cannot pick Jason Hodge, of course, as their third partner. But Swann did state that their third partner is a former champion and had someone who dealt with Mustafa Ali. Nobody knew exactly what he meant by that, but it was going to be a good one. Now, once again, AJ Francis decided to play a little mockery about saying he is a great musical entertainment, but Elijah decided to show him, hell no, you're not. So he showed up at the studio until you heard that, and that kind of plays it out right there too. So we'll see what happens in lockdown. Now, Moose, as you know, has been trying to get his hands on Frank Garcia. He decided to do the repeat of the Kingsley speech, try to act like, oh, I'm retarded Frankie Kazarian, that's what I am, and that's exactly what he's doing. But he gave out, of course, saying this and that. But however, of course, Frank Kazarian was not going to take that. He's going to prove that he is exactly why he is the king of TNA. But of course, when things go out of control, there's a fight, and we will see what happens between those two once we head to lockdown. Now, our next match is the Order of Four, Agent Moron, John Skyler, and then, of course, Mustafa Ali takes on BDE, Rich Swann. But the real question, who is the third partner? Well, it turns out to be, of course, former TNA International Champion and the man that Mustafa Ali defeated for that belt, Trey Miguel. And I don't think Mustafa Ali expected this. I mean, he did stated not to pick Jason Ochsner, but he never stated they can't pick Trey. But there were speculations about him returning, so it's great that it's not been confirmed, and he was willing to kick butt again. However, of course, like always, we were expecting to hear some crazy moments. Of course, we saw Milo get involved in all this, but luckily, it was what's his name, Trey Miguel with the lightning spiral on John Skyler, and just like that, 1, 2, 3. Boom, adios. But however, Agent Loser decided to take this personal, to take out everybody. But thank God for Jason Hodge, who decided, enough is enough. So he decided to stand up for Swann, BDE, and Trey Miguel. So we'll see where that goes from there. Now, once again, we got into a bit of a face-to-face brawl between Elena Black and Zaya Brookside. As you all know, Zaya Brookside did not like the fact that Elena Black is getting in her business and determined that she's trying to win the TNA Knockouts World Title. So they went all the way in the back. However, that wasn't the last time we saw them, because we did have the semifinals of the TNA Knockouts Television Title Tournament. We have M by Elegance versus Indy Hartwell. Now, personally, I would have expected Indy to win. And of course, we were expecting to have interference from Heather, that little idiot Mr. Loser, of course, and the Chihuahua. But however, Indy got distracted when we saw, of course, Brookside and Black continue their fight from the back all the way to the front, and this might have cost her completely, because M applied a moonsault, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. However, the real question is who she will face. Will it be Jada Stone or her own teammate Heather? That's the one thing we don't know. So we'll see what happens. Now, we did see a bit of a vignette with Harley Hudson. As you all know, Daria Ray is determined to cut her contract due to the fact that she hasn't picked up the win for quite a while, and she's trying to plead her case saying. But of course, Harley was not going to let it slide, so she decided to fight for it anyway. Now, our next match, we have Eddie Edwards versus Casey Navarro. So, of course, as you know, Casey Navarro, after losing to Nick Mena, decided to pour his heart out about everything that happened in his life. But, of course, the system, they're like, bitch, we don't need to hear that stuff. Get out of here. That's the kind of thing. But, of course, Casey Navarro wasn't going to take that kindly. But, however, of course, Aaliyah Edwards decided to throw in Kenny the Kendo, of course, onto Edwards, but it failed miserably thanks to Casey Navarro applying it, but he took him out, Eddie Edwards, with the bless in the sky, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, boom, adios. But of course, the system showed up. Bear Bronson and what's his name, and Brian Myers, and then of course we did see Fabian Eichner, Ricky Sosa, and Jada Stone, who there had their fair issues in recent times with, of course, with the system. But however, Santino Marella had enough of this crap, so he decided that the system, all four people who were out there, Alicia, Eddie, Brian Myers, and Bear Bronson, will be in the same ring against Ricky Sosa, Fabian Eichner, and Casey Navarro, along with Jada Stone, in a lockdown match full of weapons, which is the perfect course of action to see. Now our main event is the TNA World Championship. Jeff Hardy takes on Nick Menet. Of course, Nick Menet is trying to prove why he is the king of the world and that sort of thing. So he's determined to do so. Don't forget, Jeff Hardy is a former TNA World Champion, and that sets it all right there. But unfortunately, Jeff Hardy could have won this match, but Nick Menet knew him too well when he pulled up the knees right on the Swanton Bomb, and then Danger Zone. 1, 2, 3, it was done. However, Nick Menet and his Nepo baby brother, Ryan Menet, will be facing, of course, the Hardys for the TNA World Television House in lockdown. But we'll see what happens until then. But for now, we are done with our reviews. Let's end our episode with some news updates. Okay, so welcome to our news update. So let's begin with some upcoming events. We have, of course, GCW. As you know, they'll be making the return to Alaska, called, of course, The Last Frontier, the sequel. And this will happen in October 3rd in Anchorage. And then, of course, as you know, they had the new show taking place in St. Louis called Dead on Arrival, or DOI. DOA is going to happen on November 7th. Names have been now dropped to participate in this event. We have Vandal 48, Nino Extremo, Sicko the Clown, and I believe Slade. Yes. So that's pretty much for upcoming events for GCW. Now there's more, of course, of that. GCW has announced their upcoming anniversary show that takes place later on this month on the 29th of August. Luke Jacob will be taking on Pac, which is going to be the first time ever. Then, of course, we have the upcoming self-produced show by Hyper Misao from Tokyo Pro Wrestling called Hype 4 that will happen on the 15th of September. And I think they already mentioned names who will be participating in this event. Let me pull that up for all of you. Yeah, here it is. We have, of course, this will take place at the Kitasawa Town Hall. I'm going to presume it's in Tokyo. Now, here's who's participating. We have Mizuki, Rika Tatsumi, Yuki Kamifuku, Raku, Mahiro Kiru, Toga, Haru Kadoshiro, Shido Suzuki, Chika Naze, Ura Takami, Kira Summer, Ren Konatsu, and Hyper Misao. I have noticed that certain names are not there, like, of course, Yukirai and Miu Watanabe, so that sets it up right there. Of course, West Coast Pro, as you know, they have their upcoming West Coast 8. They'll take place in November 13th, and they just announced Marvelous's very own Senka Akatsuki will be making her appearance. So, yes, that's pretty much what we do know from that. Now, on to some developments. First things first, as you all may heard, Aaliyah Mysterio, of course. This was reported by PW Insider saying she has officially started her training at the Performance Center, but however, she's not using the name Mysterio in the internal roster. She'll be going by Gutierrez. For many of you who know this, Rey Mysterio's actual real last name is Gutierrez, or his full name is Oscar Gutierrez. I think that's his name. But yes, it would make absolute sense. I'm sure maybe they're doing that. I think she's doing that intentionally, either to avoid fans or whatever. So that sets it up right there. Now, DDT Pro Wrestling has announced that Soma Takao is going to be leaving DDT Pro Wrestling when his contract is up. He'll be departing from the promotion on September, but his final match will be, of course, on the 27th of September in Shinjuku Face. Now, as you all know, Shinjuku Face will be closing its doors, so I'm going to presume that this is going to be one of the final shows from any promotion. They'll have it, of course, there, so it would make absolute sense. Kofi Kingston, as you all know, it was reported by Fightful Select that he filed 2 trademark names. Now, it's still unclear what those names are, but hopefully I'll find out. Now, finally, as you all know, Darby Allin has been talking about Steven Borden, Sting's son, and I think he had some things to say about him. He said, he's definitely thrown into the deep end, and that's for damn sure. We're talking about someone who's, I believe, starting to take this game at 34. He's got big shoes to fill, but I don't think he's concerned with shoes he has to fill more than he wants to. I don't think he ever wanted to be a pro wrestler growing up, but the moment he was in Sting's last match, splashing the bucks and everything, I think it ignited something. He caught the bug, and if anybody, like I have tattooed on my chest, nothing over till you've gone underground, it feels like he has to do this. He wants to do it, and he's so passionate to do it, screwing everything that says, oh, you're starting too late, or whatever. The time will tell if he's going to swim in the deep end of AEW. I was backstage watching Grand Slam Mexico last week before I went on, and I thought myself, damn, man, the bar is set. These matches are incredible. He's going to fit in that. He is going to be able to swim, but time will tell. But his passion's enough. Having 2 kids, to leaving his job to start this thing, which is unknown, but so passionate that but the time will tell if he's actually going to be able to swim in the deep end, and I love seeing it. So yes, so he knows that he is going to be in a very compromising position once he gets into the big boys league. So I can't wait to see it. Now, I'm not going to say he's going to be the best wrestler, something like his dad, but it is interesting that he started out late. Don't forget, DDP was 38 years old when he started wrestling, guys. Don't forget that. We even had the same thing with certain Yoshi wrestlers like Mina and Unagi, who started out at their 30s. You know, that kind of sets it up. So, yeah. So, I think that's pretty much it. So, let's call it a day. Alright, so I hope you guys enjoy this episode. Coming up, I haven't decided yet what to do. I'm thinking we have AW Collision. I might consider doing that by itself and leaving MLW and AAA by itself at another time. So we'll see how that goes. I am trying to catch up with Stardom's 5-star Grand Prix, and the same thing with the G1. So I'll be releasing that soon enough. But as for the finals from both sides, I might do that at another time too. I may do that. I haven't decided just yet. So we'll see what happens. But as for right now, we'll see how things go from there. So right now, that's pretty much it. So until then, I will see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. And have a nice day. Bang.